Have you ever heard of the phrase, the early bird catches the worm?
What about back to the drawing board?
These phrases do not mean what they say.
We're talking about 25 practical English phrases that are often used in everyday conversation.
Being able to understand them will not only boost your confidence, but also help you speak more fluently like a native English speaker.
Relax and learn simple English with Easygoing English Podcast.
This is the 8th episode of Easygoing English Podcast hosted by Claire.
And I'm Josh.
We upload every week sharing English learning tips and English that you may not learn in a textbook. So if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe.
And hit the notification button so that you won't miss our new videos.
So, our first phrase is think outside the box. This is a metaphorical idiom, meaning coming up with creative and unconventional solutions or ideas. Instead of just following the usual way of doing things, when you think outside the box, you're doing something new and different.
You can use this phrase when someone thinks creatively. It's about not being limited by traditional approaches.
Exactly. When you have to come up with a creative solution, you need to think outside the box. Here are a few example sentences with this phrase. Instead of following the traditional approaches, try to think outside the box and do something unconventional. Or my boss encouraged me to think outside the box and come up with innovative solutions when I was faced with the issue at work. Okay, the next phrase comes in handy when you are trying to finish a meeting or a project. The phrase is wrap things up.
That's a good one. Instead of saying, we need to end this discussion, you could say, okay, let's wrap things up here.
That sounds much more natural, and it's less formal and something you'd hear every day. Here are a few examples of how to use this phrase. It's getting late, so let's wrap things up here and continue this discussion tomorrow. We need to wrap things up quickly if we want to clock out at 5 p.m. Next up, we have keep going. This one's simple but super encouraging. It means to continue doing what you're doing, often with a boost of motivation.
You may say it to a friend who's making an effort for some kind of goal. Like you're doing awesome, keep going.
Yeah, if you want to encourage someone to keep pushing and trying to achieve their goal or dream, you can say, keep going. It's just like a little nudge to keep them moving forward.
Do you think this phrase is always positive?
It depends. Like if someone says, keep going with that idea, let's see where it leads. It's more neutral, or even sarcastic depending on the tone.
Good point.
It really depends on the context, but I think I hear people using it positively more often.
Yeah, it's contextual and depends on the tone you use.
Okay, moving on to the next phrase, not feeling your best. This phrase is a polite way to say you're feeling off, sick, or just not at 100%.
Instead of telling my friend, I am feeling horrible, I would say, I'm not feeling my best today.
Yeah, it's subtle but still gets the point across. I often use it when I'm really tired or slightly sick, but I don't want to exaggerate it. Here's how this phrase would work in real life. I won't be able to make it to the party tonight. I'm not feeling my best. He showed up at work, but it was clear he was not feeling his best.
Just a side note, you could use this phrase to talk about both your physical and mental feelings.
All right, let's jump to the next one. In the long run. In the long run refers to the long-term outcome of an action or situation, typically after a significant amount of time. It is about having a certain outcome in the end.
That's such a grown-up phrase. My dad used to tell me, study now, and in the long run, it'll pay off.
It's a reminder to play the long game. You could use this when you're trying to convince someone to be patient. Here are a few examples. Practicing your English for 30 minutes a day may not feel like much, but in the long run, it'll add up. Or, doing exercise might be tough now, but in the long run, it'll help you stay healthy.
Yeah, delayed gratification and long-term benefits.
All right, the next phrase to add to your vocabulary is the ball is in your court. As some of you might have guessed, it comes from sports like tennis. Some people say it might come from basketball, but most folks agree it's really from tennis. And it means it's your turn to make a decision or take action.
Yeah, the other player hit the ball, and now it's on your side of the court. So it's your turn to hit it now.
It's a cool way to say, your move. Here's how the phrase might play out in real-life situations. Let's say you and your friend are making a plan for the weekend through texts. You may say, I texted her my availability, so the ball's in her court.
This is a context where you may hear this phrase. Let's say you go take a look at a used car. The seller explains everything you need to know about it. You may say something like, "Now that I've explained everything there is to know about this car, the ball is in your court."
A great example. It's like a little nudge to let you know that it's your time to do something. All right, let's switch to something a bit more emotional. Get cold feet. It means to suddenly feel nervous about something you were initially excited about.
Yeah, it's like you were so excited about something, but your brain just hits the brakes all of a sudden.
It can be used for anything. Big things like getting married, or even small things like giving a presentation. To help you understand better, here are some examples. She was going to travel to a foreign country, but she got cold feet and canceled the flight at the last minute. He wanted to get on the ride but got cold feet and decided not to. Okay, the next phrase is pretty straightforward. Costs a fortune. It means something is really expensive. Have you purchased anything that cost a fortune?
Going to college cost a fortune. I'm not going to lie.
Tell me about it. Here are some ways you can use this phrase in conversation. I was looking at vacation packages and I was like, this resort costs a fortune. Or the laptop costs a fortune, so I'm sticking with my old one. All right, let's move to something rare. The next phrase is once in a blue moon, and it means something happens very rarely. A blue moon is an extra full moon, which is super uncommon, so the phrase captures the vibe.
Just so you know, this second full moon is called a blue moon, but it doesn't actually turn the color blue. You can also use it for both positive and negative stuff. Like, she only gets mad once in a blue moon.
Let's check out some sentences that use the phrase. Since I live overseas, I get to see my family once in a blue moon. Opportunities like this come along only once in a blue moon, so you should definitely not miss it. Moving right along, here's the next phrase. Miss the boat. You use this phrase when someone misses an opportunity because they acted too late.
It could be about both big opportunities or small ones. There's a similar phrase, that ship has sailed, which is also about an opportunity that has been lost. You can use the past tense for this phrase, but using the present perfect emphasizes the impact of missing the opportunity.
Let's see some real-life examples of the phrase, miss the boat. If you don't sign up for the class, you'll miss the boat. She procrastinated too long and ended up missing the boat on the scholarship. Okay, let's dive into our next phrase. Let someone off the hook. This phrase means to free someone from responsibility or blame.
Imagine letting a fish off a fishing hook. It's a forgiving phrase, same as giving someone a pass.
Here are some ways you can use this phrase in conversation. My friend didn't show up, even though she promised to, but since she was really stressed about her upcoming exam, I let her off the hook. My brother broke my headphones, but I let him off the hook because he apologized profusely. The next phrase is one of my favorites. It's face the music, which means to accept the consequences.
You broke your sister's headphones, and now you have to face the music by telling her about it.
Yup, and you hope she lets you off the hook.
Just apologize profusely, and she probably will.
Let's look at some examples with this phrase. He had dented his mother's car, and now he had to face the music and tell her about it. He knew he needed to face the music and take responsibility for his actions. All right, moving on. This one's a classic. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Do you want to explain what it means?
It means don't risk everything on one plan.
Exactly. You may hear this phrase in business, investing, or finance. For example, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket by relying on a single source of income.
Yeah, you always want to have some backups.
If you risk everything on one thing, and that one thing fails, you're left with nothing. Just like when you put all your eggs in one basket and then drop it, you lose them all. The phrase advises you to diversify your efforts and options.
It's like having alternatives in case things don't work out.
You need to do contingency planning. Here are some examples. She applied to multiple schools because her parents advised her not to put all her eggs in one basket. Instead of putting all his eggs in one basket, he started working on the side. Okay, let's check out the next expression. Back to the drawing board. This means to start over because whatever you've been doing did not work.
It's like going back to the sketch.
You can also use it when you talk about how you need to rethink a plan after a setback. It's often paired with certain words or phrases. For example, you can say, go back to the drawing board. Like, I have to go back to the drawing board on this project. You can also say something was sent back to the drawing board. Like, the plan was sent back to the drawing board. Let's take a look at some examples. The project didn't work out, so I'm starting from scratch, back to the drawing board. I think it's time to rethink a plan and go back to the drawing board. The next phrase is get something off your chest. It means to openly share thoughts or feelings that have been weighing on you.
It's like unloading a weight. You use this phrase when someone releases negative feelings that they've been holding.
Let me give you a few examples. I could tell something was bothering him, so I told him to get it off his chest. Instead of keeping your frustrations bottled up, it's better to get them off your chest once in a while. The phrase bottling something up is pretty much the opposite of getting something off your chest, so it's a good idea to remember both of them.
Yeah, some people bottle up negative feelings for a long time. It's a good idea to get them off their chest in a healthy way. If you ever notice that someone close to you may be keeping something bottled up, you can tell them to get it off their chest.
Exactly. All right, moving on. Go the extra mile. This phrase means to put in more effort than necessary to do something.
Yeah, it's like doing more than expected. When you go the extra mile and do something, you are exceeding expectations.
This phrase is informal, but it's acceptable to use it in semi-formal contexts. The nuance of this phrase is positive. It highlights commendable effort.
Yeah, if someone is going the extra mile for you, they're really trying hard to do something for you.
You can use this phrase in sentences like these. He worked for hours to finish the project, going the extra mile for the group. If you ask him to do something, he always goes the extra mile. Okay, time to jump to our next phrase. Hit the sack. Do you want to explain the meaning?
It means to go to bed or sleep.
Right. People usually use it among their friends or family members when they're tired and ready to rest.
It's very informal.
Yeah, there's also a similar phrase, hit the hay, which also means to go to bed. Okay, let's keep going with another phrase. Bend over backwards. This phrase means to make an extraordinary effort to assist or accommodate someone.
Yeah, when you're bending over backwards to do something, you're usually trying to do something good or help someone.
Exactly. You're going out of your way to help someone or do something fair. It can be used both in personal or professional settings. I'd say it's informal, but you may hear it being used in semi-formal contexts. Here are 2 sentences to show how the phrase works. They even rearranged their schedule to come help us, bending over backwards to make it happen. We bent over backwards to make sure that the issue was resolved quickly.
Making every effort and putting out all the stops are similar phrases.
Yeah, these are good alternatives. All right, on to the next phrase in our list. Keep an eye on something or someone. When we say keep an eye on something, it's all about closely observing or monitoring someone or something to ensure safety or progress.
Yeah, when you keep an eye on someone, you're watching over them.
Right. You can say, could you keep an eye on my dog while I step out for a bit? Or, the manager kept an eye on the new worker to make sure he followed the process. Okay, the next phrase is on the bright side. This phrase is often used with the verb look. So you usually hear people saying, look on the bright side. And to look on the bright side means to look at the positive aspect of a situation. People often say it to counterbalance negativity.
Yeah, it's like saying find the positive or see the upside.
You use this phrase when you want to offer optimism or perspective. Example sentences would be, we missed the flight, but on the bright side we got to eat delicious sushi at the airport. Or I didn't get the job, but on the bright side I got a better offer afterwards. Moving on. The next phrase is it's not the end of the world.
My mother used to say it whenever something bad happened. It's not the end of the world is a way of saying the situation is not as bad as it might seem. You use it to reassure someone after a setback. It's an informal phrase.
Right. It's similar to it's not a big deal or things will be fine.
Like it's not that bad. Don't worry too much.
You can work this phrase into sentences like these. You didn't get the job, but it's not the end of the world. You can apply to more jobs. It's not the end of the world if you fail the test. You can take it again later. Let's move forward with the next phrase. Cut some slack.
Yeah, this is a good one. To cut someone some slack means to judge someone less harshly. It's like being more lenient with them.
You use this phrase especially when you know the person is going through something or is in a difficult situation.
Yeah, it's like when someone just got the job and made a mistake, you cut them some slack.
Exactly. It's similar to going easy on them. You can say he's still learning, so cut him some slack if he messes up. Or please cut me some slack. I was stuck in traffic. All right, let's keep it moving with the next phrase. This is another favorite of mine. The early bird catches the worm.
It's not only about waking up early.
Yeah, this phrase is all about being early or proactive leading to success. You can also say the early bird gets the worm. All right, the next phrase is better late than never.
It means doing something late is still better than not doing it at all.
Right. It's never too late. You can use this phrase in sentences like these. He showed up at work 1 hour late, but better late than never. His boss was happy to see him. We didn't turn in our project on time, but better late than never. We still finished it. All right, next phrase, here we go. Make the most of it.
I love this phrase. It's like getting the most out of it.
Right. To make the most of it means to maximize benefit from a situation.
It's often used in casual or motivational settings. Some alternative phrases are, make the best of it, or seize the opportunity.
Here's a pair of sentences using this phrase. We only had a day to spend in Tokyo, but we made the most of it. It was a short lesson, but he made the most of it by learning a lot. All right, that's it for the episode. If you find this video useful, hit the like button.
And I encourage you to use one of the phrases and create an example sentence in the comment section.
Good idea. And if you haven't, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you in the next episode.
Catch you later.